106 Brown Bag Mornings, LA's #1 for hip hop. I'm Letty, my guy Vic, and we got our guy Terrell Owens in
Terrell.
Terrell?
Yep, Terrell.
Oh my God.
Javier.
See, you making
Owens.
it worse.
I'm giving you more names. Terrell.
all good.
Why do I say Terrell?
No, I'll give you a pass. The media really
They do,
destroyed
right?
it over the
Okay,
years.
because I
That's what
remember
it is.
watching this with Denzel. I think he went on Jimmy
yeah.
Kimmel and he said, my name is actually Denzel.
Really?
Yeah, that his
Yeah,
dad's
he said
name was
that.
Denzel, but his mom didn't want to call him the same name as his dad. So instead of calling him Denzel, she called him Denzel.
Oh, well,
and so
we know
that's
who
what we
wore
all
the
know.
pants in that household.
Come on. So now
Yes.
we know Denzel.
We know who wore the pants in that
But it's
household.
Terrell.
Yes, Terrell.
Terrell Owens.
Yeah,
Terrell
yeah.
Owens. That's how I
Something.
heard it on SportsCenter when you're scoring the touchdowns. Terrell Owens had another
You're
game
right,
today.
but
the
even when I
damn
did interviews and
sportscasters.
stuff,
Yeah.
I had PR or whatever, they would give them a heads up that
Yeah.
it's Terrell, not
Terrell.
Terrell. And then as soon as we go on the air, Terrell, this, I'm like, no, it's
Terrell.
Terrell.
That's
I
what
like
your
that you
family
correct
calls you.
him.
Yeah.
I like that you correct him because look, my name is Letty. People
Letty.
say Letty.
No, Letty.
Dude, coming back from the border, right?
Oh, boy.
I've gone to the border. But like coming back, the Border Patrol asks you, like, and especially when I was little, they're like, okay, who's on this birth certificate? And they're like, okay, who's Letty? And I was like, it's Letty. And they're like, all right, second check. You sound too Mexican. You gave us the accent. So they would send us to like the second check. It's very scary. I don't know if you know, like for us
No,
brown
I
skin
don't know
folk, it
nothing.
gets really scary if they take you to the second check.
Hey, you know about borders, we know about the back of the bus.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
Borders.
This conversation is going amazing.
I feel you, but I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I understand.
My
Now?
homie Terrell,
Yeah.
he was telling me about taking Spanish class in the South, and he thought, you know what? I'm never gonna use this. This is gonna be something that's like here and there because down in the South there was probably only black and white that you saw.
pretty much black and white, yeah.
And they gave you a Spanish name.
You know, we had Spanish classes, and we all had to pick a Spanish
name.
Yeah, I didn't want Carlos or Jose or Juan.
Did they bring out a list?
You know what I mean?
Or what
Yeah.
was it like?
It was like to choose
I
from.
wanted something that was cool.
Yeah.
So Javier, it's kind of like Schwab.
Duh!
Javier.
Javier Owens.
That's right.
Come
Javier
on.
Owens.
That's what it is. Learn how to get some merch that says Javier.
That part.
Yeah.
That
Some
part.
Prototype 81 merch.
Prototype 81.
Javier.
Yep, I
You
like
know,
that.
speaking of Prototype 81, let's get to it. This Sunday, there's a warehouse sale in downtown LA. Or talk to me, what's going to go on at the warehouse sale?
I've had this brand for maybe a couple years now. I never thought I would be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I wasn't out of high school. I wasn't like a 4 or 5 star, kid coming out of high school. I wasn't heavily recruited. And then, played 4 years of college football, and I played a few years of basketball as well at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Again, never thought I would play beyond the collegiate level. So I get drafted in '96, by the 49ers, and then obviously went to Philly, then Dallas, then my last 2 years stops was at Buffalo and Cincinnati. So then obviously you got to wait 5 years before you're eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
And so for me, like I said, that was my first time obviously being nominated. Never really thought I would.
It was going to happen.
Yeah. And so I was like, man, this is crazy. I'm like, I went to a small town, small school, and now I'm considered in the spoken in the breath of some of the greatest to ever play the game.
yeah.
And so I was kind of like just taken back. And so I'm like, man, how did I get here?
Yeah.
So I thought about my career and all the great things that I had done, just looking at the highlights and just the unfolding and just a recap of my career.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, this is really special. So I thought about my 3 Ds, which is desire, dedication, and discipline. Everybody has a desire to be or do something in life, but to be mentioned as one of the greatest, how do you get there? A lot of the greats, they're not great straight out of high school.
Yeah.
Some are, some aren't. And I fell in the aren't category. So, I have desire, dedication, and when you talk about the greatest to ever play any type of game, discipline is usually the word that comes up when you're talking to their peers, their coaches, or just fans alone. Discipline, what separates them. So the same thing, that I did and I put into my career, I put into my clothing line. So it's kind of like in the DNA and the fabric of it as well.
Come on.
I love that.
So and then prototype, the word prototype, the definition is the definition of prototype is the basis on which something is made or formed. We're all prototypes in our own right. I just happen to be prototype 81.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm very creative, like, even with designing of the merch and things of that nature, creative heads that help me with.
You're super hands-on with it, though. Like,
right.
you need to have your fingerprint on the
right.
stuff.
I'm not one of those celebrities. I guess I can consider myself a celebrity that just puts my name on something and then just let brands or companies just go do what they want to do. I want to be hands-on because I want it's personal for me. It's that DNA. And so, again, with the word, like I said, the creativity, prototype, you can't spell prototype without T.O.
Ooh.
You're
Think
so
about
cool.
it.
You're so freaking cool.
That's a bar.
And I know you saw that. You were like, ooh, it's right there. I thought it was because of the Outkast song. I hope that you're the one.
Yeah.
If not, you are the prototype. Okay, I'll stop singing. Sorry, Tio. It's crazy to me that you thought like, oh yeah, just this little school, just like out here. But I never thought that I'd be a Hall of Famer. Like you did that as a. What'd you think? It was a pastime football, or it was just like for the time being, or
that you didn't think you would like make
like
it
you're
that
T.O.
far.
Well, yeah, now I'm T.O., but like when I grew up, nobody, those are my initials, but nobody called me T.O. when I was growing up. My mom named me Terrell, so that's the coaches call me, my peers, my fellow teammates, they call me Terrell. So again, you fast forward, John Madden was the one I think that coined or nicknamed me, start calling me T.O.
That's cool.
That's nothing. That's light.
So
and still, I don't know if I need to be a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
To give you that nickname.
And Pat, was that Pat Summerall, it was him and Pat Summerall, that did the broadcasting of all the like primetime games, and obviously I got drafted with the Niners, with obviously one of the prime teams, organizations, and so I was very fortunate, and so I played behind one of the greatest receivers of all time in Jerry Rice, and so I kind of just followed in his footsteps, and then it was remarkable. When I think about it now, they saw a lot in me to obviously to trade him away. That's almost like trading Jordan away or Kobe away, and then having somebody fill their shoes. Dang. But again, that let me know then I'm like, hey, I'm on my way to bigger and better things that they can get rid of. Like what is he was considered the greatest receiver of all time, and then have me come in and fill those shoes.
Fill the void.
Their scouting department was incredible. One, but two, that's like one of the most interesting parts of your career to me. That like you get drafted on a team with already the greatest wide receiver,
and then even a Hall of Fame quarterback, Steve Young.
With Steve Young, and then you go alongside him, and it's like you never have to worry about the comparison in terms of like, if T.O. would have played here or there. No, you guys are lining up alongside each other. So every play you could see, like, who's performing what, who's doing what. And eventually, obviously, you were younger. You come in and you do your thing, and you outlast him. And, and then go on to play. You guys both played till you're, like, in your 40s or, like, pretty late. Like,
my
late
last
30s?
year, I think I was 37.
37. So 37. Late into your career as well. And that just goes back to the 3Ds because you don't make it in that game if you're not disciplined. Because a lot of players tend to fizzle out around their 30s. Right?
Yep. I had to do something different. I saw that initially my first 3 years, I wasn't, like I said, obviously, when we talk about, three greatest receivers to play the game, it's myself, Randy, and Jerry. Those are the three names that come up. I'm always going to say I'm number two, respect to Randy. I know what he did. There was just something unique about his skill set, and there was a lot of things unique about my skill set. But I think with my skill set, there was a lot of things that kind of separated me from, what Randy did. Yeah. And so I encompassed a lot, a little bit of everything. I did a little bit of the dirty work too. Like I said, caught the ball, just playing tough over the middle, knowing that you're going to get hit. Like I said, Randy was known for really just catching the deep ball, high pointing balls, and just like they said, it's like you getting mossed. Like people know that, because that was his skill set.
I'm gonna relate this to basketball real quick because we just saw this.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
We just saw the big trade that happened when we got Harden on the Clippers. Harden and Russell Westbrook being low-key high-key homies, and having played in multiple other teams together. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing to play with your friend like that? And I know you've had friends within football. Do you think it would have been better or worse for you if you played with your friends? Like if you actually got on the team that's like, that's my bestie right there.
I mean, that could work in a sense. To the point that like you push each other. You know what I mean?
You can say things to him that you couldn't say to just a teammate.
Right, exactly. But I think these guys are professionals. I think it goes beyond the friendship, but part now, because these guys fraternize, on and off the court,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
different from the 80s and the
How it
90s.
used to be,
Guys
yeah.
didn't, and I had that mentality too. Like there were guys that I fraternized with, we were cool with during the off season, but
Right.
when we saw each other game day, I'm not cool
not
with
your
you.
friend.
You
Those
know
team
what I mean?
colors?
I'm not.
No,
Yeah,
that's a
I'm not
target.
finna go shake hand. I don't. That's just me. That's my
Yeah.
mentality. So I see a lot of fans. They're chiming in on it too because LeBron, he's super friendly with everybody.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
he's like, you're too nice. You know what I mean? That's why people's like, that's why they like maybe Jordan. Versus
Yeah.
versus him. You know what I mean? That with the comparison with just the killer mentality. But I think to your question with Russell and now Harden being on the Clippers, I think now he has to assess really kind of his game and where he is and how he can contribute to this team to allow them to amass some wins because right now they're winless. I think he
It's
has to
hurting
take
right
the
now.
approach. He has to take. Honestly, he probably needs to take a page out of Dwayne Wade's book.
Whew.
When LeBron went to Miami Heat, Dwayne was number one.
Yeah.
But he saw that there was, the new king in town, new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
That
You
was
have to
LeBron.
fall back.
So you got to take a back seat and allow your game to flourish with some of the other stars in order. Like I said, it's going to be construction. You know what I mean? It's always the road to success is always under construction.
Yeah.
So with them, like I said, I agree with Ty Lue. I heard some of the comments. It's going to take a few games, maybe like up to 10 games to kind of fill it out and see what rotations work with who, what units he works well with and don't, before it kind of really start massing some wins. But again, with his history, it hasn't boded well for him, so he has to
'cause he
kind of
kinda
understand.
checks out
He
if it's
has
not
to
working.
understand where he is right now and understand his skill set and how he's able to use that skill set to really benefit for the team's success. Because there again, they were 3-0 with maybe one or two losses before he got there. Now they're winning, so. Right now, he's not the missing piece that they need, but that's not to say that he can't contribute and amass some wins based on what he brings to the
And their
table.
potential together has been
he's
so
a
great
talent.
in the past.
He's
so
definitely a talent. He just has to mentally
figuring it out.
Yeah, mentally figure it out and have a mindset of, okay, this is because right now it's not looking good. All the optics are not looking good for him. You know what I mean?
That
Especially
one ball that hit the announcer, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Well, yeah,
he's playing baseball.
He'll be on.
Going for a home run.
Shaqtin' the Fool.
Yeah.
Definitely. He'll be on one of those categories.
So being that basketball is one of your passions and you played it during college, did you ever think about playing in the NBA and NFL? Like your version of a Deion Sanders kind of thing?
Well,
Although
honestly,
they
when I
overlap a
look
little.
back on it now, I really, based on how I play and people know my skill set playing basketball, like I'm probably low-key underrated. I could be probably one of the greatest athletes to ever walk the
I was thinking, I seen you dunk at that. Was it a All-Star game?
Yeah,
that was crazy.
It's
It was like a
light
double
work?
pump.
Yeah,
I was like,
but
you do
honestly,
this.
right? But the thing is, I wasn't that way coming out of high school. These guys were so talented from the beginning.
Already.
Yeah, they came out the womb doing what they
You
were
were
doing.
more of a late
like,
bloomer?
yeah, I was a late bloomer. But again, like when you see what I do with playing different sports, I could be obviously, considered like, in the category of one of the greatest athletes that you ever play sports. But when you think
you
about,
didn't think you were Hall of Fame?
no, I
Yeah.
didn't. No, I didn't. But again, it factors into, like I said, which I call those are my three pillars of success.
Yes.
Desire, dedication, and discipline. And I apply those with, any and everything that I do.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy. You play for the Niners and then like during the daytime and then the Warriors at night or something. Like that would have been crazy.
Well, during the offseason, when I played with the Niners, I did play in a semi-pro league up in New York.
Okay.
The Adirondack Wildcats. Yep.
Wow.
It was a semi-pro team that I played with.
And you were just dunking on people?
I didn't dunk on it. I went up on two guys, but I missed. I hit the back rim. But guys knew when they saw that, they was like, "Oh snap!" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I played like some semi-pro. You know what I mean? But I think about it now. I kind of honestly, if I say I regret anything, I regret not taking that leap to really do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of teams back then would have been receptive to receptive to that.
Yeah.
Like Deion, like I said, he's an anomaly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think about Bo Jackson. These guys are phenomenal. I wouldn't back then. I would never put myself in the class or the category as those guys.
Yeah.
It would do them a disservice to do
Bo
that.
did all three, no? He did baseball, football, and basketball?
No,
not
he didn't
basketball.
play basketball.
Well,
I think it was just two, just baseball.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
but those were
disadvantage
phenomenal.
that you would have had is just that the seasons overlap a lot more.
Yep.
With you and like baseball and football, or sorry, basketball and football as opposed to baseball and football.
Yeah.
Do you ever see anybody from the NBA try to be like, I could be an NFL player. I could be a wide
they
receiver.
talked about. They brought up a number of guys.
I'm sure that there's a difference. There's already a difference in physicality between.
Just with that word alone, the physicality and how the guys are soft in, guys are considered
Yeah.
soft in the NBA now. They wouldn't make
They
it.
can't.
They
I'm
would
sure
make
you
it a
see
day.
that, like, we could play flag, but maybe that's
Yeah, they
it.
wouldn't make it a day.
So-
Flag, they can do flag.
There's
They
a
ain't finna-
there's a like an athlete little rivalry, right? Like basketball players, football players, like especially probably dating back to college and football. I'm sorry, college and high school, to where it's like you guys looked at the basketball players a certain way, like they could never play our sport, but we could play theirs.
No, I never really
No,
looked
well,
at it
you
that
probably
way.
played on both.
Yeah, I never really looked at it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just never had my optics. I just never really looked at the difference in how guys played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But obviously, you look at now how when you think of the NBA, just the different eras of how the game is repped and how the games are played. The physicality is totally different. That's why with all the great things that LeBron has done and some of the greats have done thus far, they always go back to like the 80s and 90s. Like, could he do this back in the 80s and 90s? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you think about the guys that played then. Could they play in this era?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
But there's only
theoreticals are like endless.
Right.
Yeah.
There's I think a certain few guys that will be able to adjust because of the mentality. You know what I mean? Because you think you try to put LeBron in Jordan's era. Could he be doing what he's doing now? I don't know. I would say yes. To what degree, we don't know. But if you try to put Jordan in this era, he would kill.
Yeah.
Because of his skill set.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He would be averaging probably like 40, almost 45, 50 points a
That's
game.
crazy.
Literally.
And he would live at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Probably 20, 30 of those points would probably be at the free throw line.
Yeah.
He probably knows that too.
And then, like I said, you think about Kobe, that's a blueprint, a carbon copy of MJ.
Yeah.
Don't want to get into the topic of top three, but
Yeah.
for me, it's MJ, Kobe, LeBron, just from a skill set standpoint.
Man.
Do you find yourself watching a lot of football these days, or
Now, I never really watched football growing up. I never, like I said, I didn't know. I didn't know much.
Televised.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, we did, but my grandma.
Yeah.
I grew up with my grandmama, so she was really strict. We didn't really watch a lot of TV. You know, we had the black and white, TV with the knob turn, whatever.
Yeah.
It was only a few shows that we watched. Her favorite and my favorite was Wheel of Fortune. We watched the Cosby Show.
Oh, it's so tight. Yeah.
227. What Real World? What's the other show? Is that the one with
Real World?
Kadeem
You watch
Hardison?
the Real World?
With not the Real World,
Oh.
but with Kadeem Hardison and what's the show? He had the little
Bro,
glass
we
to
weren't
flip-
alive in the 1800s, so we don't know.
Different world, yeah.
Oh,
different
different.
world.
I was like,
yeah.
Real World.
Yeah, Real World. That's your world.
Yeah.
That's your world.
But you were watching that.
Yeah.
Wow,
So those are
that's
the shows.
crazy.
Yeah, those are like the main staple of shows that I got to watch. So I didn't really watch a lot of football
Football
growing
like
up.
that.
You know what I mean? I watched basketball. I was fortunate to watch that with my dad and stuff like that. And then I didn't really know who Jerry was until like my junior year.
Jerry
in
Rice.
college. Yep, Jerry
Wow.
Rice. I came in one day and some of my teammates, they were watching a Monday night game and they were playing somebody.
Yeah.
So again, that's how, like I said, clueless I was to even thinking about even playing at the next level. There was really, really no interest. You know what I mean? I was always like, my spare time was spent playing intramural basketball.
Wow.
That's
Yep.
a trip. Yo, Tio, you're out here in LA a lot. And you know what's crazy is out here, the Cholos love the Raiders, they love the Cowboys, and they love the Niners. It's like, and you played for two of those teams.
Yeah.
Do you see you get more like out here? Do you get more recognized for one team over the other?
Well, here, definitely the Niners.
Yeah.
Niners.
But I think overall, when I travel, I get so much love. And I said this before. I did the promo for the Sunday night football game with the Cowboys and the Niners. So people got to talking about it, and they asked me a question. And they asked me, like, who do you get more love from, the Cowboys or the Niners? And my answer was Philly.
The Eagles.
Oh, the
The
Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, I
'Cause
played.
you played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, played there.
Oh, true that,
for like
true that.
a year, almost a year and a half. Really balled out there. I was one of those blue collar guys. Like I said, we're relate. We're relatable. Just with the work ethic. You know what I mean, and me coming to perform like I came to play. You know what I mean. I didn't want to disappoint the city because, like I said, they brought me there to help get them beyond the 4 NFC championships the years prior that they never got beyond. And so I brought that energy, that swag, to the team that they needed. And so, like I said, they appreciated me for it. And then obviously,
You
like I
made
said,
them cool as fuck. Sorry
yeah,
for
and then
cursing.
I got hurt late in the first season, and then I came back in 6.5, 7 weeks from I had a broken leg, and then I tore all the ligaments in my ankle, and I came back in 6.5, 7 weeks to play in the Super Bowl. So they appreciated that, what I brought to the table.
That game was is a legendary game. You played with, you said a broken.
Yeah, it was broken. Yeah.
Broken foot or a broken ankle?
No, my leg, I had a broken fibula, and then I had 2 screws and a plate in my ankle.
And you balled out.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I did what I did, you know what I mean?
Like nothing.
Yeah.
I always try to tell people, you hear the phrase, people are built different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a shirt too.
Come on,
I'm not
see?
built different. I am different. You know what I mean? We're all built different, but but it's something that sets you apart.
Yeah,
you
you weren't going to miss that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I always try to tell people, elevation requires separation. And so for me, with my training, my nutrition, everything that I put into being a professional athlete, becoming one of the best to play the game, I had to do things differently.
Yeah.
Like I said, and discipline was really a key part of that, key element in that. And like I said, when you think about all the greats, when you think about baseball, tennis, soccer, football, basketball, whatever the sport may be, there's only a handful of great ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of good athletes in all those sports, but why aren't they only speak of a handful of the great ones?
Yep.
It's usually because of the discipline. It's something they do differently than everybody else. And so I always tell people, discipline, great discipline is what separates the great
apart
from the good.
Yeah. What's discipline to you as a football player? Because it's different for different, different industries, different careers, right? Is discipline to you waking up at a certain time? Is it making sure that the training's done? Is it never having an excuse?
That's a little bit of discipline and dedication, but discipline is really just doing it when you don't want to do it and you don't feel like doing it. You know what I mean? Not doing it because you have to, it's because you want to. You set your goals and you set your mind and your sights on something bigger than what you can even imagine. And so for me, not only did I do that, from just being self-aware, but I had coaches that pushed me and they saw the talent that I didn't really see in myself. You know what I mean? So they're the ones too. I give a lot of credence and kudos to those coaches that really pushed me and just they saw what I didn't see in myself early on. So again, I got drafted off potential. Any guys, if you're not a top 5 or top 10 pick, and you're solid and you're going to come in and play right away. When you're drafted in all these other rounds, 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever the case, you're really being drafted off potential. What you could be, what you could do, what you did in college. That doesn't mean you're going to pan out to be that, because there's a lot of number 1, top 10, 5 picks that don't amount to anything.
Right.
They get paid like that, but then they're not producing in which they're getting compensated. So that's how I look at it.
You know what's crazy too, because then I thought of another D, not that one.
Right. I was like,
hold on, another D. Distraction. Because while you're on that road of being disciplined, that's the killer to it. That's the killer to all potential, is if you get caught up in the distraction of whether it be women, whether it be going out, whether it be just being lazy, or like you said, when you don't feel like doing it, that can all distract you from the set goal. How did you deal with that, Tio?
Again, that goes into the mindset and just really what you're prioritizing and what's important to you. And I talk to guys that are in college now. I have a son. I talk to him about certain things. They're going to be there. Especially when we talk about guys, that are in college right now, and their aspirations, their dreams are to play at the next level. You know what I mean? I told them, especially, and sometimes the two downfalls to men are women and money. And I said, dude, I was like, women, there's a million of them on this planet, bro. Don't get sidetracked, by one woman. Not to say that you can't care for that person, but they can get you off track. If they're understanding of where you're trying to go and they're understanding what you're prioritizing, which is to get to the next level, then they'll understand the sacrifices and the things that you have to do. If they don't, then that's not the person, that's not the girl for you. You know what I mean? There's always going to be women there. You know what I mean? And so for me, I wasn't that attractive, so I didn't really have a lot of women clamoring at my door.
Shut up.
I was an ugly duckling growing up. That's not the case now. I'm handsome now.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
What changed?
I was a late bloomer.
You always had that same smile.
No, I didn't.
Shout out to Invisalign.
I didn't. Look, I swear to God, I didn't even want to take. dude, I'm dating myself, but you remember when they had the Polaroids? I didn't even want to take no pictures.
Wow.
Like my mom, she
like
would want to
it.
take pictures. I didn't want to take no pictures because honestly, I had self-esteem issues. I mean, I felt like I wasn't attractive. That was
Right.
some of the things that I grew up. Those were my experiences in high school. Like I said, girls didn't like me, you know what I mean, for whatever reason. Got to college, it was kind of the same thing. Then obviously you start lifting weights, getting
Yeah.
a few muscles here and there.
Yeah.
You know, my status started to rise a little
Come
bit. And I'm
on,
getting
see?
I'm drafted. I'm on the West
Yeah.
Coast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm in a melting pot. Like
Yeah.
prior to that, I'm like, it's just black and white. You know what I mean? Then
Everyone looked past you. Then you got to the Bay, and
Oh,
you were
yeah,
like,
like I
"Ooh."
said, it was like a Baskin Robbins, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It was like
31 flavors.
31 flavors.
Tell me when to go.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I was getting yeah. I'm telling you. Yeah, I was in the Bay Area. I was like, yo, I got to meet E40, all these guys.
Sprinkle me, man.
Muggsy, be legit. I was with all those dudes, you know what I mean? So I
That's
got
cool.
myself familiarized with the Bay Area real quick.
Yeah.
With a lot of the Latinos.
Come
and stuff.
on.
So again, like I said.
Javier, what's
Yeah,
up? Checking
Javier,
in.
Yeah.
Javier's back.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your alter ego.
Yeah. Going with Javi to Javier's?
I should have went with Javier, but
Yeah.
my alter ego became T.O.
Yeah.
Because there's two
No,
people.
that's
There's
dope.
Terrel
Yeah.
and then there's
It's the
T.O.
beast.
Yeah. Speaking of T.O., you're referenced in a lot of rap songs.
I know a couple of a few.
Which
yeah.
ones are you like? What are your favorite ones, or some
I
that
don't
stand
know
out
my
to you?
favorite. I know there's ones like T.O. I can't know the artist, but
There's a Problem and Scheme. I remember they made that song T.O. It's a whole song. It's just called
right,
T.O.
yeah, I think that's the one we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember hearing that and I was like,
Yeah.
damn, this is fire. I wonder if at the time they weren't like that big of artists, right?
Right,
I think
right.
it was like 2011, 2012.
Right.
But I remember hearing that and being like, oh, that's so dope. T.O. song.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And it just
right.
made sense. Like it was on a mustard beat. Like it was
exactly.
a banger.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sure
Again,
you've
like I
heard
said,
other ones. Like it's
every
always the
now
thing,
and
go
then-
deep.
Yeah.
Like T.O. That's like a go-to for
Exactly.
people.
Yeah, it's always a reference here and there. But again, like I said, it's an honor. I mean, it's almost like, okay, you made it. You're on the
Yeah.
minds of people. It's like, I think that the two things that make this world go is like information and inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, like I said, I've inspired a lot of people. And the same thing that I try to do, even with my clothing line, it's like inspiration. It's just
Yeah.
not, just clothes just to be, just be wearing it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because like I said, when I grew up, my mom, she made pretty much all of our clothes. You know what I mean?
Wow.
She was a seamstress. So that's
Yeah.
why everything that I'm doing and I've done throughout the course of my career, those things got cut short because she had me at a young age. And so she wasn't able to, she wasn't able to model. She wanted to
Yeah.
do that. My mom's beautiful. She wanted to, be in Hollywood. She wanted to do all those things. She wanted to be a top designer, but she does that now, even with my kids. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? She dresses them alike. She takes T-shirts and make them into outfits, all
That's
types of
awesome.
stuff. So what I'm doing now, like I said, it's kind of like I said, it's a kind of play on word, but it's in the DNA and the fabric of what I'm doing with my clothing line, and even my other ventures as well. So again, then I got a documentary coming out, next year.
Awesome.
That's going to be, like I said, some of what you're hearing here
Yeah.
probably on that documentary, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
I think that's dope because clearly football is your passion and just the sports part of it. But moms can be so attached to something like this. This takes her back to like, wow, he remembers. I'm sure her even hearing how you remember her making your clothes. Like being a mom, that part is what I'm living through my children, as much as it was a sacrifice to not do the modeling stuff, to see what you became is just as big of an accomplishment for her, I'm sure.
Man, living in the projects, like I said, a lot of people, like I said, I don't really talk about it a lot, you know what I mean? But, bro, I lived in the projects,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, people that know what the projects
Yeah.
are about, you know what I mean? It's not a good place, you know what I mean? You got roaches crawling on the
Yeah.
wall and stuff like that. Like, I grew up in that environment, you know what I mean? I'm not embarrassed. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
what it was. You know what I mean? Then we moved to a 2-bedroom apartment. Like I said, my mom's sewing machine was like right in front of my bedroom. So, I mean, she was really working on that,
Yeah.
sewing clothes like countless number of hours, like that she couldn't just keep going up. Like I would really have to just crawl up under the chair just to get into my bedroom. You know what I mean? So she
Oh,
wouldn't,
man.
Yeah.
just stop doing what she
Yeah.
was doing. But I mean, it was just what we did.
life.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, like I said, everything that I do, like I said, they're very, I always keep them, in mind. And like I said, I'm just trying to just keep it going.
Yeah. Talk to me about your Hall of Fame speech. I feel like you have one of the most infamous, like legendary Hall of Fame speeches.
Oh yeah, man. Because I wanted to recognize, because a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of, I guess misconceptions about me. Like I said, just based on hearsay and
and the media is like
the media. I
yeah.
mean, everybody thinks I'm selfish, cocky, I'm arrogant, and to a degree, you have to be that way. I mean, when you think about guys that have been called selfish and arrogant and cocky. I mean, you think about Kobe, you think about Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? I'm in good company if that's the case.
Yep.
But I'm not that way off the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a switch. You know what I mean? Like we talk about the alter egos. Like on the field, I'm T.O. You know what I mean? I have to bring
you're
that.
intense.
Yeah, that's just how I am. But other than that, man, I just try to be me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. I want your take on this, especially because we're talking about relationships and how they can be distractions to players, especially that have incredible potential. Kelsey and Swift.
Oh yeah.
I don't really know if that's really real.
That's because we were just talking about this because it makes sense. Like
I don't really, because you look at his past girlfriend, that's not even really his type.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Yeah, his turkey dressing ain't finna have no seasoning.
Crazy.
He probably gonna have some celery and carrots. Yeah, it ain't finna have it ain't gonna have no flavor. No pun intended. Like it ain't gonna have no flavor. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna be no color up in there.
And it's so public. I'm even used to like Taylor Swift being very discreet about the people she dates, but like she's flipping song lyrics on stage. She's like, she has him like, there's constantly videos of them. She's at games cheering. It seems very like, hey, let's do this.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, there's some benefits to both of them. Like I said, if it's genuine, if it's real, I know Travis.
Yeah.
If it's genuine, if it's real, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
For me, it's just like I said, it's just totally opposite of what we've seen him do. And that's not to say that he can't, you know what I mean, to each his own, you know what I mean? But for me, I'm like everybody else. I'm kind of like, okay, this really
When
real?
is this
I'm kind of a
turn?
conspiracy theorist, and I'm like, it would be a great marketing ploy by the NFL to cater to the woman audience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's how he's like, they want more women fans.
Yeah. I feel like that got so many more women invested into the game. That was around
Just
the same
put on
time.
your tin hat real quick. Be
Yeah,
conspiracy
dude,
theorist
this is
with
me.
us.
This is conspiracy theorist Vic
Because
right
then
here.
there's also like the conspiracy theory that might be the way to get her to do a Super Bowl. You know,
That
like
too,
get her.
the relationship with the
I mean,
NFL.
she's a big enough star. I don't think
Yeah.
they need to go that route. I'm thinking that could have
Yeah.
gone to a number of people besides Travis Kelce to get
True.
that done.
Yeah.
But again, if this is true love and they ride off in the sunset and they do some get married and all that good stuff, kudos to them. But I just hope it's not something that's just like just a one-off type of thing.
Yeah.
And,
For the season.
Yeah. We'll see.
Hopefully he stays focused.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, Travis is a great guy. He's always gonna stay focused.
He's great because he's dating Taylor, right?
Well, I hate that. Stop.
Or
Stop
is
it,
it
Lefty.
great because
Isn't
Taylor's great dating him?
Wait,
That's what I'm
didn't
saying.
Taylor
Or
Swift
she's
make him
dating-
popular?
Huh?
Oh.
Didn't Taylor Swift make him popular?
Here she goes.
Here I go. What? I didn't know who that guy was.
Stop.
I'm wearing
Are
red.
you the girl that they're talking
I'm wearing
about?
red because Taylor Swift.
Are you the girl that
is
they're
with
talking
Travis
about?
Kelce.
The non-football follower
Come on,
that
Tio.
thinks that Travis Kelce is famous because of
Yes.
Why else is he famous? Who watches the Chiefs?
Because he won a Super Bowl.
What?
When did he win a Super Bowl? All right,
Last
stop,
season.
I'm
Last season.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm so scared right now.
This is what I'm talking about.
We
you acting?
like to trigger him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, you good. You
Yeah,
good. You good. I was like, you can't be that.
I'm hearing like
Naive.
a lot of guys are having that combo with their girls now. Like them, like, oh yeah, like Taylor's boyfriend is like, what do you mean? Don't
He's
you
had
mean Super Bowl
8
champion?
seasons.
Well, I can see
Like,
some girls
Yeah,
really thinking that, like, who is Travis Kelce
Yeah,
because
like-
they know who Taylor Swift is.
That part.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that part only.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
I mean,
Can
I
we
guess
talk
it's a
about-
good conversation. It depends on how it ends. It could be good or bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
What I hate is that they had stats the other day when Taylor attends the games
Yeah.
and when she
How
doesn't.
well he does,
Like they literally had like
like-
a
Oh, yeah, I
graphic
heard
of
about
stats,
it,
and I'm
yeah.
like, bro, she has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
game.
He was
like,
balling before she got on the scene.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Super Bowls.
If
Come on.
anything, she probably gained more fans too.
That
Yeah.
part. There's no guys like I'm now listening to the
Taylor
era or
Swift,
whatever.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
will admit, I did throw in a couple of Taylor Swift
Come
songs.
on, 1989 was a great album. Not
did.
gonna lie, it was a really good
Yeah,
album.
yeah. 'Cause so I always go back to my college, during homecoming week.
Uh-huh.
So I did. I donated a custom golf cart to the school. So I had it with my
Awesome.
logo on it, all this good stuff. And then I got a Bluetooth. I got a sound system. So I rode around campus. I took kids to class,
Dope.
you know, back to their
What?
dorm rooms, all types of stuff. And
That's
so I
fire.
was just riding around campus. And so I got my
Yeah,
Bluetooth. You know
the
what I mean?
playlist,
yeah.
Yeah, I turned on some Taylor Swift. I'm trying to get cool with
It
the
went
white
up, huh?
with the white students. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm cool. I'm listening to Taylor Swift. But you know, they were cool with the Migos and
Yeah.
all the other stuff. You know, the 2 Chainz, Rick
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah.
So.
Are you like doing that too? I'm sure, like going back and doing stuff just for like the
Yeah,
place in
man.
which you came.
Yeah, I like to give back. You know what I mean? That's just always been a part of me. That's a lot of people don't know that
Yeah.
because of the media. I mean, the media has portrayed me or painted a picture that, you know, a lot of people think really negative
Right.
about Terrell Owens when they hear it.
Yeah.
But that's not really, like I said, who I am. Like I said, there's 2 sides of me. You know what I mean? There's the off the field me, who I'm really chill,
Yeah.
I'm cool, I'm laid back, I'm pretty witty, funny,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people don't know that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because of, you know, some of the people that, like I said, they hear things or what have you, and they piggyback it, and then it just carries, and then it's always negative.
People just
But-
run with the narrative.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nah, you're super cool. I want you to come to our carne asada. That's our
Yes.
cookout.
But
you
that's
won't.
chicken something, right?
Nope.
Beef.
What's carne?
Carne is meat. So
Meat.
beef.
Meat. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
See?
I didn't finish.
Yeah.
I didn't finish.
You'll
Never
have some
too late.
Chipotle there. I'll have a Chipotle,
Oh, I got
aside
Chipotle.
for you.
Yeah, I'm good.
That
Just
would
say
be
Chipotle.
crazy.
I'm good.
Terrell Owens. Thank you so
Terrell.
much for coming
Terrell.
through,
Yes.
Brown Bag, bro. Anytime you're invited here, we call you a primo now. You are a
Yeah.
cousin. You
Okay.
are
Honorary
official.
primo.
Yeah,
Okay.
honorary primo of Brown Bag. Come through whenever,
Okay,
bro.
cool. And then we're doing this warehouse
warehouse
thing on
sale, man.
Sunday with a couple other brands.
Yeah.
So who else is going to be there?
Pull up and look for Javier.
Yes, ask for Javier.
Yeah.
Home favorites. Darrell. Is that hometown favorites?
Hometown favorites.
Darrell Wright and Duno. Yeah,
Be like that.
The other
Okay.
brands.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, my brand is made up of, it consists of men and women. It's like
Mm-hmm.
unisex. So, you know, hoodies, joggers, crop
Yup.
tops, leggings. I have
Athleisure.
like a small little collection of, you know, Prototype 81 kids lines.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So yes, I want to really expand upon that as well because
Yeah.
I have a daughter. She's 9.
Yeah.
So I had her, you know, model some of my stuff.
Nice.
So again, I just want to get my name out there, get my brand out there.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, just inspire people. You know, I mean, it's like to motivate, to inspire, to give back. That's sort of like my mantra.
Mm-hmm.
It all, you know, kind of just is under that umbrella of Prototype 81. And so
Come
again,
on. You
yes.
got to be intentional with what you wear. Because you'll
Yep,
mess
yeah.
around and wear something that says killer on your shirt and then wonder why people treat you crazy.
Right,
But
right.
might as well have stuff that's inspirational on you, too.
Yeah.
Yep, and intentional. You speak of the intentional. I have a candle line as well. Cause it's
You
Loft,
have a candle line?
Loft 81 Home. And
What
so
is like your favorite candle scent?
Desire. So those 3 pillars of success, I have since dedicated to those. So I have 5
Oh.
candles. I have desire, dedication, discipline, and then I have a candle that I had for Valentine's Day. It's called It's Me.
Oh, I thought it was dick. I'm kidding.
It's called It's
D.
Me.
I don't know.
It's me. And then I have a wine
You should think
pairing.
about it.
I have a wine.
It's me doesn't start with a D.
Right. And then I have
That's
a wine.
me.
Right. And I have a wine pairing candle called Later Ray, which means golden child.
Come
Ah,
on.
okay.
Because when I was in Philly,
Yeah.
my the head athletic trainer, because I used to ball out and like I was doing some like phenomenal things that they never really thought that would happen.
Yep.
So he used to call me the golden child. So when I was trying to think of a name for a candle, I researched this girl I was dating. I called her mom. I was like, yo, I'm trying to think of a cool name for a candle. So she went and Googled my name, and then she started researching all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then she looked up my middle name. My middle name it sounds Hispanic. It's El Dorado.
You're
That's
a liar.
your middle name?
That's your middle name?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Y'all
not
didn't-
sounds Hispanic. It's Spanish, bro.
I
Yeah.
know, but so
and
she,
it's golden. It's
Yeah.
right,
golden,
so,
yeah.
So
El
she
Dorado.
looked it up, and
That's your middle name?
yeah, Terrell El Dorado Owens. Yes,
That's
I don't
tight.
know
What?
where it came from. I
Is he
have
lying?
yet-
Is he lying?
That sounds like such a lie.
Yo,
Because you can't even say you like Doritos.
No, like
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the truth,
No,
but it
you
sounds
think
like
I'm-
such a lie.
I know. no. What was a lie? Before we get to this, what was a lie was the story that Chad made up that we made headlines for the other day. Was that we was in the DR and we slept with 17 women.
Yeah, stop lying, Chad.
You were 16?
Right, yeah. And then I told him, and I went along with the story.
Why did you do that?
Because I know Chad. I knew he was lying.
Chad is a troll.
Yeah, but he's all, we cool like that. So he's just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you remember when we was in the DR and we had this orgy with like 17 women, and then I'm like, and so I'm like, oh yeah, and I said, you sure it was 17? I said, no, I think it was like 12. He's like, no, you can't have sex in it with an odd number. He's like, yes, I knew it was 17, and so so we on the live. This was just a casual conversation, like this, and I didn't really think too much of it. Now it's on all these headlines, these platforms, the Shade Room.
We prayed for you before you got here because orgies is crazy. You don't know what you can get from that.
Man, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, that's not. I'm like, yo, we were clearly joking. Anybody that knows that. So now I got people. I got my son. He's like, yo, Dad, I heard this.
What's up, Dad?
I'm like, bro,
yo, Dad, can I go to the DR?
I'm like,
Dad, can I go next time?
I'm like, dude, we were having. It was just a casual come. Like, yo, like Chad was just made up a story, and I was like, yo, I just
go with it.
I just ran with it.
Yeah,
you know
improv.
What I mean?
That's
bro,
funny.
and it's like now it's a story.
Yeah.
But back to what
El Dorado.
El Dorado.
So yeah,
On your birth certificate.
It's Terrel El Dorado Owens.
Terrel El Dorado
You want
Owens.
me to show you I'll show you my license.
T-O.
So you
Oh
know,
my
so you
gosh.
know that I'm not lying. What does that say, Letty?
Oh my! And El Dorado is one word.
Wow. Have you watched the movie The Road to El Dorado?
What?
No, I've seen it, but no, I haven't had any.
El Dorado. Look, it's his middle name.
Yeah. Wow.
Did you ever ask moms? Like,
no,
what's
I
that?
still haven't asked. No, I don't even want to know why.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they were
She
drunk.
had a night in El
I don't know. If
Maybe
she was
his name was Javier.
I don't know. I don't know if she was drunk. I don't know if they was in the car.
Tight.
I was conceived in the El Dorado. I don't
love
know.
it.
I have no earthly idea.
That.
That's
you know what I mean?
crazy.
So the girl Googled you, found out your middle
Yeah, so
name.
the girl's mom that I was dating, so I was
Yes.
telling her like, they own restaurants, and so I told her about the candle line, so she was fascinated by it, and then so she started Googling, and then she was like, yeah, so she looked it up, and it was like it mean golden child or golden one.
Yes.
And so with my wine called 81, and my logo was in gold.
Yeah.
And so I was really instrumental and involved with that. And so the label was textured. It's like textured like the football, like the leather of football. So it's a little
Oh, that's so awesome.
So,
Where's it at? No?
81vino.com.
Wow.
The new label has gold in it as well.
Wow.
So she looked at it and she goes, oh. And so the tasting notes in the wine, it has plum and stuff in it. So we created a wine. The the vessel is gold, and then we took some tasting notes from the wine and we incorporated into the scent of called Later Ray.
Wow.
So that's those are the 5 scents: desire, dedication, discipline, it's me, and then Later Ray. And then honestly, there's one more.
What is it?
I told you my grandmama, she raised me.
Yes.
So I grew up with like tough love. She really didn't know anything about me being drafted, what that meant, none of that. So she barely even really wanted me to play sports growing up. It was my mom that kind of encouraged her, like, let me play, let me be a kid.
Yep.
And so she passed of Alzheimer's in 2012. In '96, she was diagnosed with dementia. And so I've done PSAs. I spoke before Congress to help with awareness, funding of the disease. And so June is brain awareness and Alzheimer's, and then November is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. So that color, just like breast cancer has pink, Alzheimer's has purple.
Yep.
So we have a purple vase, and
dedicated to Graham.
Yeah, so the name of the candle is called Tough Love.
Oh, because that's how you grew up.
Yep, Tough Love.
That's
what are the scents in that?
And then the dried floral and incense, and then to kind of soften it out, we made it with a cashmere plum. When you think about, obviously how I was portrayed in the media, like being this, and that, and the other, when you think about my character and things that I've done, like I've never been in any trouble. You know what I mean? I've been able to conduct myself like a model citizen. You know what I mean? I've had no issues with the law, none of that, no DUIs. I barely drink, so none of that stuff. So that was really kind of, based on how I was raised. I was raised the right way, and I know right from wrong or what have you, and I know the consequences of a lot of actions. And so even like I said, we talked about it, I alluded to it earlier, even with some of these guys, even dealing with women, there's consequences,
There is.
to actions. Yes, like I said, yes, don't, no don't mean yes, you know what I mean? And then, like I said, you can't just press up, you know what I mean, when the moment is good and you're drinking and, it's a lot of things you have to look out for.
It seems like you also had a lot of female like input in your life
I did.
too,
I didn't have
which
a dad
gave you
growing
that
up.
perspective because having Grams and having mom and them being so strong in your life, that allows you to carry yourself a certain way with an awareness, and you have sisters too, right?
Yep. I have two in my immediate family. I got two sisters and one brother, and I'm not sure if you knew that, but my dad lived right across the street from me. I didn't know who he was till I was a preteen, and so I had at that time I had 4 sisters, and so it wasn't until I started kind of liking one of my sisters playing in the neighborhood. It's like, this is not.
Terrell, stay away. Yeah.
Wow.
It's okay. You were.
We'll
ugly.
talk about
She
a lot
didn't
of this
like
is
you.
going to come up again in my documentary. But there's a lot of stuff, like I said, that happened throughout the course of my career and stuff like that. That'll obviously be revealed in the documentary. But
makes you who you are.
Yep.
That's why you're here today.
And I appreciate
the
you
golden
guys.
child, El Dorado,
T.O.
Javier, El Primo, El Feito. Say Feito.
Feito.
Yeah.
Feito.
That means you're a little bit ugly. But you said that you were ugly.
I was at one point, but I'm muy guapo.
You know?
Muy guapo now, yeah.
Brown bag power, one of those things. Let's
Muy
go.
guapo. Yes, yeah. You, bonita.
Yes.